The ocean is big, really big, but it's also quiet, too quiet. On December 4th, 1872, the crew of the Dei Gratia looked through their spyglasses and saw a ghost. Now, it wasn't a literal spirit, but it was a ship, the Mary Celeste. A ship moving with strange drunken lurches across the Atlantic. When they boarded her, they didn't find monsters or blood. They found nothing, just the hollow echo of a life that had been interrupted mid sentence. Now, today, we aren't just looking at the missing crew, we're looking at the anatomy of the nightmare. Now, imagine walking into a room where the clock is still ticking, the beds are neatly made, and a child's toys are scattered across the floor. But the house has been abandoned for weeks. That was the Mary Celeste. Now, Captain Benjamin Briggs wasn't just some sailor, he was a seasoned pro. He had his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter named Sophia with him. They had music, they had a library full of books. This wasn't a rough and tumble crew of mercenaries. It was a family home that was on water. And yet, when the boarding party arrived, the only missing thing besides the people was the lifeboat and the captain's navigational instruments. It's as if they didn't just leave, they took the why with them. Before we look at the cargo, we have to look beneath the waves. History often forgets that the Azores, where the ship was found, is a tectonic graveyard. Some theorists suggest a seaquake. Imagine the ocean floor ripping open, sending a massive, invisible shockwave straight through the hull of the ship. It wouldn't sink it, but it would create a sound so violent, so absurdly alien, that it would feel like the world itself was coming to an end. Would it would literally rattle your teeth in your skull and turn the very air into a vibration of pure terror. In that moment of sensory overload, do you stay on the ship that sounds like it's screaming, or do you jump into the silence of a lifeboat? Let's talk about the silent scream of the cargo. They were carrying 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol. When the investigators checked them later, 9 of those were bone dry, empty. Now, some say it was a leak, but others, they suggest a flash fire. Imagine a low intensity explosion caused by vapor, a wall of blue flame that roars through the ship, but it's gone so fast it doesn't even leave a scorch mark. To a captain with his wife and baby on board, that would look like the ship was about to turn into a floating bomb. Is that when panic set in? Did the very air they breathed turn into a threat? Here is where the tragedy turns into a horror movie. The prevailing theory is that they didn't abandon the ship. They tried to, quote, pause it. They likely got into the lifeboat and stayed attached to the Mary Celeste by a single long rope, waiting to see if the ship would actually blow up. Imagine sitting in a tiny rowboat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, staring at your home, praying that the rope holds. But you see, the Atlantic, it doesn't care about your prayers. A storm kicks up, the rope snaps, like a dried up twig. And in the darkness, you watch the lights of your only hope sail away into the mist. You aren't dead yet, but you are lost. Was the ship itself the problem? Before it was renamed, it was actually named the Amazon, and its history reads like a how-to manual for basically bad luck. Its first captain died in 48 hours within after taking command of the ship. It crashed into other ships, and it also ran itself aground. By the time it was found drifting in 1872, sailors whispered that the wood itself was cursed. Even the man who found it, Captain Morehouse, was accused of murdering the crew for salvage money. The mystery was so toxic, it ruined almost everyone who touched it. The Mary Celeste didn't just lose its crew, it swallowed their reputations, too. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle once wrote that when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. But with the Mary Celeste, everything feels impossible. We're left with a ship that survived, a cargo that remained, and 10 souls who became part of the ocean's permanent collection. Was it a freak of science or a moment of human panic that cost them everything? Let me know down in the comments below.